Welcome to the Zwartkops International Kart Raceway west of Pretoria in South Africa. In the Junior Max Championship, it was going to be a four-way battle between Alibi, Bishop, Dolenchek and Visser to see who was going to be the champion of 2019. Akil Alibi put it on pole position ahead of Tate Bishop, Carl Visser and Troy Dolenchek, with Ethan Coetzee in 5th place ahead of Lorenzo Chiafanelli. Qualifying done, now it's all down to the racing. Talk to me about before he's lying ahead. What is the strategy?
You go first.
Basically, I just need to have a clean race, try keep calm and push my best, push the hardest.
You from Cape Town, so the Cape Town guys is up against, with their backs against the wall, but yeah, it's what past experiences and stuff, what does one take forward from bringing into an event like this?
Well, we're lying third in the championship so far, a couple of points behind Akil and more or less equal with Tate. I think we just have to have fun today and tomorrow.
But when drop points come into count, then it's a different story.
Yeah, we are very close when it comes into drops, but yeah, we're going to push our best and see what we can do.
Zwartkops as a circuit, is it a challenge, especially in circumstances like this, or is it something that we've been here before, know where we're going?
I think it is a bit of a challenge, especially with something like Akil driving here, but I think it's a nice track compared to Kalani. Obviously, when you drive Kalani for a long time, it gets boring, but I think it's a nice track.
That home circuit advantage, if you want to call it that, I know for you nothing is more a home circuit, but you do race here much more. How much of an advantage is that?
It's not that big of an advantage because the Cape Town boys are really quick around here, but I feel it's a little bit of an advantage. Hopefully I can use it to my advantage tomorrow.
What do you have to do to win the crown?
Well, I actually have to win pretty much all 4 races in order to win the championship. But yeah, it's going to be a tough race. There's a ton of other good drivers, and they're looking very fast in practice. So yeah, it's not going to be an easy race.
Also, what makes it more difficult is that Alibi, who's one of the main contenders, probably got more experience on this track than you guys from Cape Town.
Yeah, Alibi definitely knows more overtaking moves, but you know, us Cape Townians have more stamina due to the fast track, fast turns and everything, so yeah, I'm going to try to use that to my advantage.
Does this circuit suit your driving style? Because you have an aggressive driving style, like Charles Visser, like Carl Visser, you're all quite aggressive drivers.
Yeah, definitely. I think that the way that I drive is definitely going to help with where I stand for the championship. But yeah, I'm looking really forward to the races tomorrow.
What do you have to do to pull a rabbit out of a hat?
You know, it would be really great if I can get a win this national. It will boost my position up. Then I'll maybe get better than my brother because I'm always in competition with him at home. But yes, we'll see.
You had quite a big crash in your Dube. So are you fully recovered from that?
Yeah, I'm mostly recovered. Still have a few shoulder problems, sometimes getting sore. My chassis is kaput. Luckily my dad organised my brother's other one, but yeah, we'll see.
I suppose the fact of having a brother older than you, there's always a spare one lying around from what he used.
Yeah,
hand-me-downs. We all had hand-me-downs in our life. Hand-me-down shoes, hand-me-down jackets. You've got a hand-me-down chassis.
Yeah, it's not a bad chassis. It's actually kind of a bit better than my other one. But yeah, we'll just see. Maybe I can get a few extra chassis supplies when I win. We'll see.
Tate Bishop made sure that his championship hopes stayed alive by taking race 1 ahead of Carl Visser, with Akil in 3rd place ahead of Troy Dolenchek and Chiafanelli in 5th.
So Bishop leading the championship, but remember Akil Alibi in that mid-pack, and the man who is on front row in 2nd place for this second heat of the weekend has already secured himself a seat to the World Finals after winning the Africa Open only a couple of months ago. So expect a big battle at the front end. Yes, they're into the tram lines. Prince Ndeweni's going to join myself, Greg Maloney, the voice of choice, down into turn 1. It's a phenomenal start from the 477 of Visser, and he gets the whole shot into turn 1.
Yeah, kept it clean, kept it steady. You can see him wrestling his car, trying to keep it as stable as possible going into turn 1 there, but he did well there.
Levi up into second place as they go down into turn 2. So Akil Levi doing everything right now, trying to secure not only the seat but also the championship. He's got to try and keep Tate Bishop behind him though. And Tate Bishop has already started to slot himself up there, possibly into 3 and 4 as they come up through the twisties for the first time. It is a great start out of the 417 of Troy Dolanchek, who's up there as well.
Yeah.
So a bit of a fight expected. And it's exactly what we did expect. Watch out for the 494, though. That is definitely the man to keep an eye on in this one. And already some pressure being applied there by the 414.
Any moves going to turn on, we'll see if Dolanchek has an answer to that is Bishop's, or rather Bishop on Dolanchek.
Hasn't found a way through yet, but
not yet,
Tate Bishop, remember, is the championship leader.
True.
He's saying, come on, let's get a move on. Let's get this sorted out. And as he says that, 2 other carts come and join on the back end. So we've got 6 carts fighting for the lead. The first 4 are the first 4 in the championship, not necessarily in numerical order, but definitely the contenders for the South African Championship in Junior Max this year.
Yeah, so we're going to have to keep a nice eagle eye on them. We're going to see some interesting maneuvers going into the last, especially the last few laps of the race. I don't see them getting into too much trouble and too much dicing in the mid part of the race.
You haven't been watching this championship then, hey? These guys go at it from the word go till the end.
From lap 1.
Yeah, literally, it's no holds barred here. As you can see, Levi already applying pressure on De Visser, trying to find a way through there for the lead. And Tate Bishop hasn't found a way through yet, but Dolanchek is keeping him honest. Behind that, they start to line up. And I can tell you that Ethan Kutsia and Ndamisa Mungani have got a chance of spoiling the day there for any of those first 4 in the championship.
Yeah, while they're still sort of behaving, Ndumiso Pungane has to speed up and try and keep up with the pack. They do still have a chance to use their momentum going into the latter part of the race.
If you look at those first 4, the first 4 in the championship, the first 4 on track, all 4 of them have had international experience as well. They've all been to at least a world final or some international karting races around Europe and even into sort of the Middle East. So these guys all know exactly what to do when it comes to this format of racing. They also know when to dive, when to take maneuvers, when to take risks.
Troy Dolanchek has one Tate Bishop to worry about. Definitely not going to give him any chance. If he does see a door open, Bishop definitely will take it. Probably going into turn 1. It looks like he's building something up here.
I can tell you right now, Carl Visser is doing everything to perfection. He's just gone put in the fastest lap of the weekend, a 44.746.
And there we go, Bishop on Dolanchek. Very good move there. He was lining him up. It looked very...
And if you look at Tate Bishop's time, 44.790, another man into the 44. So literally the 3 carts in the front end of this field into the 44s now. Everybody else starting to get into those 44s slowly but surely. But as of yesterday, because of the heated conditions and the slightly hotter conditions that we had on Saturday, fastest was a 44.9. So, you know, you're just messing around with minuscule amounts of time between these carts. If I look at the way that Tate Bishop is driving at the moment, and remember he is the championship leader, he knows third place is good enough. He's not pushing to catch these 2. He's just defending Troy Dolanchek, and he's not concerned about both Visser and Aliba. I would not be doing that right now. There's too many permutations that happen in karting, particularly at finals. And in the past, so many things have gone wrong in the final heat, or so many things have gone wrong on the final day of racing, that you cannot afford to make any mistakes. You cannot afford to be, just relaxed about it. You've got to fend. New leader into turn 1 though. Great bit of driving there from Levi, just forcing his way. Little touch between the 2 of them coming out of the last corner.
Wheel to wheel there,
But I think it was a bit of rubbing his racing there. There was no intent to sort of touch there. I think they were just that close. And a little bit of white smoke coming out of those mojos.
I remember going wheel to wheel with someone in that section, Greg, and it was not pretty. So very good on them. They're staying calm and keeping it clean at the speed they were going at too. The double left is not a very slow section.
And in a junior, you're going to be flying through. You're probably going to be sort of sitting 100 to 110 k an hour exit speed, and up to 140 k an hour by the time you get down onto the breaking point for turn 1. So it is a rapid little kart that you're playing in. This time it looked a lot smoother, but now with that little touch, look at what's happened there. Tate Bishop has got a bit of scent of the blood in the water there. It's got a bit of Cosmic and Tony Kart taste to it. And he's now right on the Tony Kart. Visser looks back, he knows he's in trouble. Visser's in a bit of trouble there as Bishop comes very late.
Yeah, he knows he lost a few tenths there with his dice with Alibai. Hopefully he can defend his without compromising his own position and his distance to Alibai. But it looks like he didn't have a very good drive up the hill there, and then Bishop has closed the gap on him.
it's amazing to see and think about that this is a Gauteng-based circuit. And I think it's 2, 3, 4, and 5, all coming from Western Province. So it doesn't really matter about a home track advantage. They still like the circuit. They love fighting here. And of course, bringing the finals to this track is always a good thing with 2 to go. 3 laps to go, beg your pardon.
There you go. The experience showing dividends there. Any track they drive on, they can adapt very quickly and be competitive. But looks like Bishop is trying to line Visser up, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if he's going to keep it clean going into the last few laps of the race.
I think the reason there is there's probably a change up in the mindset of Tate Bishop, realizing that Akil Alibi is now in front.
True.
He has to try and sort of ensure that he gets at least second. When Visser was in front, it's not as important.
You're very right.
Alibi, at this point, would be leading the championship. So he'd be sort of sitting there going, okay, hang on a second. I can't afford to be third. I've got to be second if Alibi is taking the win so that I can at least stay in contention for the final heat of the day.
And Visser knows that, going slightly defensive, looking over his shoulder. He knows that he's got a very hot, red-misted Bishop to worry about at the moment.
And on to the braking into turn 2 now with 1.5 laps to go as they come through into the tunnel. And through that tunnel, you can see Alibi at this stage, 44.7s coming out of him. In fact, his last time was a 44.8. 44.8s out of Carl Visser, 44.7s out of Tate Bishop. So the man on the move with a 1/10 of a second advantage. And a 1/10 of a second is not a huge amount, but in karting, it's like a country mile. Is definitely Tate Bishop there for the third spot and looking for second.
Yeah, there's a country mile between him and second. He's got a lot of work to do, though. Visser is not a slouch. He's not going to let him by very easily. And he's very much aware that Bishop will be more aggressive going into the last few laps. He's probably gotten the signal from his dad as well, from wherever he is wearing that white farmer's hat.
Yeah, Mr. Visser in his Italian mafia hat, I like to call it.
Okay.
But here we go, down into the bottom section of the circuit for the last time. And Tate Bishop goes for the move. Bishop pulls in. Oh, and a touch between Bishop and Visser, and Dolenchek looking to capitalize. Thanks for coming. Dives through for second place, and look at the pressure being applied there. Just behind that, all of a sudden, Ethan Kutsia says, okay, I'm up for this as well. There you go. Kutsia dives through as well and squeezes out. And the biggest loser there, wow, what a bit of maneuvering there. Lorenzo Chianfanelli looking for a chance. Leader coming to the line, though. He stayed out of trouble. And this is going to be a massive, massive advantage that he gets coming across the line with Dolenchek in second place. Carl Visser Tate Bishop in third, just beating Visser to the line there. So Tate Bishop down in third place with Alibi in second gives Alibi the lead of the championship into the final round.
Jeez, exactly what Alibi wanted to play out going into the end there. Precisely what we were talking about, how the drama's going to come at the end.
So a quick recap of the results before we go. Akil Alibi taking the win there ahead of Troy Dolenchek with Tate Bishop in third place. It's Carl Visser down in fourth, beats out Ethan Kutsia. Kian Fanelli finishes up in sixth place. It's Bongani, Ngandi, Matthew Morrell, and Greg Malami who comes through for the top 10.
It was a good start. I almost thought that I was going to lose second, but I managed to stay behind Kyle. I waited for about like 6-7 laps behind him, and then I saw the move and I went for the move, and then I just tried to keep first until the end. I think I'll still be leading the championship after this race. First would push me a bit higher, I think. It was a good race.
Having a look at the front end of that field, it is Akil Alibi on pole position. He's on the inside line. On his outside, there's a very dangerous man in 477. That is Carl Visser.
Look at his body language.
Yeah, Carl Visser was looking for a win here and looking for a potential way to spoil this championship. Visser also not out of it, down in 334 points to the 356, so about 20 points back. So still in with a chance, but Akil Alibi does everything right and holds shots. Dolenchek follows him through and follows Tate Bishop actually through. Ooh, in the background, a big moment there for the 430 card of Greg Malamani. Malamani went wheeling out of turn number 1. 2 wheels off the ground completely and 2 wheels powering that cart down towards turn 2. Alibi from Bishop. Bishop from Visser. Visser from Dolenchek. Dolenchek followed very closely there by the looks of things by Kian Fanelli. So that's the top 5 coming up, and they've already bridged the gap there on 6th place.
Geez, Visser's going to have to make up a bit of time. He lost out one position there too. That is Tate Bishop, so he's got a bit of work on his hands. Going to be seeing quite a few aggressive laps and possibly
Dolenchek on the inside. What a move there from him.
Jeez, just when I was talking Visser up, Dolenchek is another man to watch out for.
Visser made a mistake there.
Yeah, definitely.
Visser made a mistake because Kian Fanelli's got through as well there, Prince, and I think that was a big and a crucial mistake. And it's one of the reasons why he's not probably in the top 3. He's made a couple of those through the season. Bit of a pity there for him, but let's see whether or not he can keep it all together now as they head into the tunnel one more time. Oh, out of there, Malamani, I think, has got a broken cart. Kind of expected that after that wheelie.
Oh, he's disappointed. His cart was all but galloping after going over that curb. Jeez.
How's the stance he had there? He's looking across going, it was you. I know it was you. I will find you after this. Yeah, man, he's not happy. But there's nothing you can do about that, unfortunately. It's now up to him to sit and wait from the sidelines and maybe come through for a little bit of fun and games in the last heat of this weekend and the last heat of the season as well. Right now, it is a change-up at the front end, though, as Bishop has got through on a Levi. And a Levi with Dolanchek on his tail is exactly what Akil Levi doesn't need. But remember, Akil Levi has secured a seat to the World Finals. But he definitely wants a South African Championship. And working hard in that cosmic chassis to try and close things down on Tate Bishop, with Dolanchek on his tail. The two Cape Town boys sandwiching a Levi at this stage. So it's going to be a bit of a bun fight here. And all of a sudden, Charles Visser is slowly but surely coming back in. He's managed to just bridge that gap onto the back end of Kian Fanelli. And let's see whether or not there's going to be any change up for those first five.
Kian Fanelli is going to be a bit of a buffer for Visser and slow things down in terms of his involvement with the podium position, which should give Bishop enough time to pull a gap ahead of Alibai and Dolanchek. Now, I don't know if they're too privy to how far back Visser is, but if I were them, I'd put my head down and go as fast as possible, because Visser's a dangerous man.
Yeah, you know what? In motorsport in general, you have somebody on the sideline with a pit board telling you exactly where you are or what you need to do, etc.
Yeah.
It hardly ever happens in karting. The reason for that is in karting, because you are so evenly matched and so tightly bunched, you don't normally get a chance to even have a squiz across to look at whatever that pit board would be telling you.
Yeah.
You've got to literally do it on what you think is going to be happening around you, who you think is around you, and who your potential threats are. So it's up to the driver once they're on that track. Whatever the team's done to set the cart up, whatever they're going in the background to make sure that the tyre pressures are right for the conditions we've got here at 27 degrees Celsius now, ambient temperature, so it's getting hotter. The wind has died down ever so slightly. It's not as strong as what it was, but there is still a little bit of a cool breeze out there, which is helping the engines. And of course, these Rotax engines are now working to perfection, along with the Mojo rubber that's on these carts.
Yeah, Kian Fanelli, as you were speaking there, was getting a very good tow from the top three there, but it looks like Visser had a good exit out of the tunnel and had a good run there and had lots of momentum. You'll see going up into the hill here. He sort of closed the gap. It's significantly smaller than what had been opening up down the home straight. So Visser should be lining Kian Fanelli up in the next few laps possibly.
I like where you went with that. I was hoping you were going to go the other option. I'm talking the Mojo tyres. And remember that they only have a set of tyres for the day. And 18 laps, 3 more laps of action, and another 18 lapper to come means that you've got to now think about conserving the rubber.
True. So less overtaking, less aggressive stuff if you want it to count for the end. And you're not seeing any of that.
Well, Dolanchek had a go there. It forced Akil Levi into defensive maneuver, and Kian Fanelli said, thanks very much. I'll have that.
Jeez.
I'll have that any day of the week. Second place on the road now, Kian Fanelli. Akil Levi down to third. And look at Tate Bishop getting the job done, moving through. And I'm going to do a couple of calculations as we go through here, because it's going to be changing all the time. And if it stays as it is right now, Bishop is going to be moving to 391 points. And if Alibai is down in third place, he is going to be, what do we got, 386. So it's a change up in the championship if it stays as it is right now, back into the hands of Tate Bishop.
And Bishop is very aware of that, hence the gap he's opened here. He's put his head down. He's probably getting a signal or two from his team as well.
Oh, Dolanchek with a move as well.
Yeah, that was very nice.
Dolanchek doing a super job, and he moves to second place now. So Troy Dolanchek with 351. Yo, it's going to be tight. It's amazing how close it is. No, there's nothing in it, but there's 383. So if they stay as they are, it means that Dolanchek will be moving to 383. That'll make him go down to 386. So there'll be 3 points in it between Dolanchek and Alibai, and there'll be 7 points in it for the win for Tate Bishop. Wow. There's nothing. It's absolutely amazing. It's brilliant stuff. It's what we wanted to see.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
Going down to the last lap, hey?
Last heat of the last lap, I think, is what's going to be counting for this one. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But it's exactly what we expected, and it is. We mentioned in the start of the first heat of this one. There's 3 categories of racing in the Rotax Max, and take nothing away from the rest of the categories because they're just as exciting. But in terms of South African motorsport, and particularly in karting, arguably the 3 most impressive and incredible and exciting racing comes one out of Junior Max. We've seen Bambinos, and of course DD2 being probably the third one there.
Yeah, and you get a reflection of how even and unfair things are in terms of competition. Everyone on the same equipment and relatively the same level of ability. Unless, of course, you've got a lot more track experience, and international experience also comes into play as well. But you're seeing how evenly matched they are. I mean, we've seen pretty much a similar gap between the top two to five. From top 2 to 5, pretty much a similar gap from lap 1. A bit of dicing here and there, but relatively the same. So it's very much difficult for them to extract a bit of an advantage. That's where the positioning and timing comes in, and strategy, especially for an extra race with an extra 3 laps. You're not just going to dive bomb someone because you're tired.
Dolenchek for second.
Exactly.
Oh, Alibi can't afford to have that happen. You can see Alibi already going on the attack on Kieran Finetti down into turn 2. He follows Dolenchek, and great cosmic maneuvering there from the two of them.
Very nice.
Super stuff. Using his teammates' ability to get through and catch Kieran Finetti out. I was about to say, we're about to break for lunch. I want to know what Kieran Finetti... I definitely want to know what Kieran Finetti had for his mid-morning snack, because he's now flying high and trying to drive over carts in front of him. Never mind go around them.
He's trying to half the circuit for himself. That didn't work out.
Look, I know that Tony Cart and Cosmic are from the same company here in South Africa and based, of course, in Vereeniging, but they don't necessarily have to do any inbreeding. You know what I'm saying?
No.
The chassis are good enough as they are. We don't have to do a hybrid of the two. There's a problem. There's a problem on Alibi. Alibi's got an issue on that maneuver. Alibi is slowing down. I think he might have broken... He might have broken his exhaust. That little bit of a hump on the background there from the Tony cart has cost him big time.
He did, because
it's broken something on the cart, and Alibi is in massive trouble now. So, Tate Bishop leads things out now, and we are on to a lap and a half to go for Bishop, with Dolenchek in second and Kyle Visser in third. Ndamisa Bungani, incredibly, is up into fourth place. Out of nowhere. We haven't really been picking up on the fact, but we've got to give him hats off for that maneuver ahead of Ken Finelli. And Ken Finelli, of course, is the man who was involved in that little incident. So we've got some fun games still to happen here for 4, 5 and 6th place on track. Matty Morrell also doing a great job up into 6th place as we start the final lap now. Tate Bishop, if he stays where he is, will be finishing on 364. Okay, so we're going to assume that he's going to do that. If Troy Dolenchek stays where he is, he will be moving... No, I beg your pardon, that's wrong. Tate Bishop will be moving into 386. 386 for Tate Bishop. So I'm going to get all my maths right, chat. So what you've got to be doing at these kind of finals. 388. Oh, problems in the background by the sounds of things. Looks like somebody got out of shape. Somebody getting out of shape there. We didn't quite pick up on it. Tate Bishop coming to the line now, and the flag takes the win, goes to second place in the championship, so he moves up one. Dolenchek's second place on the road moves him into the lead of the championship, and that will now go to 388. So let's give you confirmation quickly of the results. Tate Bishop ahead of Dolenchek, ahead of Visser, then Ndamisa Bungani in fourth place, beating out Lorenzo Kienfinelli, Ethan Kutsia in sixth, Matthew Morrell in seventh, Jean-Dre Null in eighth, Ngandi in ninth, and Akil Alibi eventually finishes in 10th place. So with the 10th place, he scores 23 points. With that 23 points, Akil Alibi stays in the hunt at the front end, and Alibi will be on 379 points heading into the last heat of the day. 386 for Tate Bishop and 388 for Troy Dolenchek. So there's 2 points in it there for this championship.
It was a very tough race. From lap 3, I was blocked by a kill, and then I managed to get past through pit corner. I just kept my head focused and just went for it. So I just carried on putting qualifying laps, and I still just managed to win. So I want people who are going against in the championship just to finish a bit further back so that I can have a better chance of winning.
It is Tate Bishop alongside Lorenzo Kienfinelli on the front row. Dolenchek and Visser side by side. Kutsia ahead of Ndamisa Bungani. And Akil Alibi starting from 7th alongside Matthew Morrell. The biggest amount of work that has to be done has to come from kart 14, Akil Alibi.
Yeah, and he's got 18 laps to do it, and that's a very long time. But coming out to the start, very good start from Tate Bishop there. He's secured his lead ahead of Dolenchek, just behind him in the 417. In the fourth.
Bit of action in the background there, sorry to jump in. But a big maneuver. I think that was Jean-Dre Null who just got sent onto the sideline with a little tap. And he was followed very closely there by our good friend, Greg Malumani.
Greg ever a feature?
Yeah, he features quite a bit in this little race, and also with our sideline antics as well. So Tate Bishop at this stage is hanging on to the lead And Bishop looking for a chance to keep out Dolanchek. Now, he wants to overtake Dolanchek in this championship. He's got to make up 6 points. Right now, he's only making up 2 points, which is not enough. Or 3 points, I should say. Dolanchek can sit there behind Tate Bishop all day long and still wrap up the championship. If he finishes there, of course, he will be winning it by only a couple of points, but the championship will still be his. He's got to be concerned and watch the rearview mirrors and see what happens with Akil Alibai and how he progresses through there.
And progress he will. He's Akil Alibai after all. He does have a Fissa to worry about. He's the first Carter ahead of him that has to pass. And I don't know if Fissa is going to be play the role of the dangerous outlier at this point where the championship is concerned. He might be one to be the cat among the pigeons.
Fissa, I think, is not really concerned about this championship because he's not really in contention down in 4th place. Something has to go dramatically wrong with a couple of these carts and have to be probably excluded for him to be in contention for the championship. So he's going to try and do the best he can and finish up as high as he can. Exactly what these top two are trying to do, with a bit of the attentions from Kian Fanelli and Ethan Kutsia. The man we haven't spoken about really this race day, but all of a sudden here in the final, Kutsia has come in there with the green helmet in the Cosmic and is in with a chance of maybe taking the final win of the season, if not any part of the championship.
Yeah, Kutsia figuring out you can have a bit more fun just before the championship comes to an end. You can actually get yours in there and so you can run at the big boys, which we've seen with a lot of the classes. Actually, a lot of surprise packages coming in, either from perhaps 5th or 4th place or 6th going down to grid, working their way up to a faster and high position. I mean, in particular, starting this race, Lorenzo Chianfanelli side by side with Tate Bishop in terms of grid position. So he must have gotten really good times in Heat 3.
Dolanchek, though, looking to win this championship for the Western Province side of things. So is Tate Bishop, looking to maybe make it a 1-2 there for Western Province. Bishop's got to make up 2 points on Akil Alibai. Right now, he's doing that, with Alibai down in 7th place. So it could be a 1-2 here for Dolanchek and Bishop, and a 1-2 for Province over the Northern Regions. So that's not quite what Akil Alibai had in mind. But remember, Akil Alibai also could be thinking about the fact that he doesn't have to take this championship to get a world seat at the finals, because he's already done that at the Africa Open.
Yeah, 100%. So if any reason, it could be just for the credentials, to be able to have those.
Look, you won a championship. You won a South African championship for sure. It's definitely one that you want to have on your credentials and one on your CV. But don't look like it's going to happen. Not from where he is right now. That far back, Carl Visser ahead of him, Ndamisa Bongani ahead of him, Ethan Kutsia ahead of him. He's got a large amount of work to do in the 13 and a half laps available.
And it doesn't seem to be closing the gap. The gap between him and Fissa is still the same. I was just looking at them going in by the tunnel there. The difference is literally has not changed. Fissa's got a lot of pace, and he's not exactly an easy driver to get past. It does have the ability to make things difficult for Alibai.
Alibai was fastest on that pass, though. So on the last lap, Alibai was the quickest of all the carts out there. So he's slowly but surely starting to reel them in. Has he got enough time? I think 18 laps is still enough. And there's still 13 laps to play for here, of course.
But Akil Alibai putting his head down, so he's making his intentions clear. The body language says it all about karting races and what they intend to do for the next few laps to come. So he and Fissa definitely put in some more hot laps, I believe, in the next few laps. But Ethan could see a possible buffer, Greg, if Fissa and Akil Alibai get to them.
Well, I think if Akil Alibai gets there, he's got to try and get ahead of Tate Bishop. That's the more important thing. But as he starts to move up through the field and move up through the numbers, of course, he gets closer to securing second and keeping Tate behind him. Just playing around with those figures right now. If they stay as they are with Tate Bishop taking the win, he will then move into 389 points scored, 392 points scored for Troy Dolanchek. And if Akil Alibai stays... Bishop running wide there, dropped down to 4th place. Little mistake there from Tate Bishop.
Tiny mistake.
You know what it is? Concentration levels are starting to be a big factor here.
True.
They've worked so hard all day, and you just make one look to the side, one look to the wrong place at the breaking point, and you lose that breaking point and drop to 4th.
Chianfanelli on
so
4th.
now,
Did
with
you see that?
Tate Bishop to 4th, that takes him to 29. Bit of a change up there, big time. So that is 13...
just as you're calculating there, that was a nice move by Chianfanelli. He actually lost out to Ethan Kutsia, but answered back very quickly, literally in the same section, had a better run going up onto the hill and onto the tight stuff. It was very smooth.
If they stay as they are, Alibai and Tate Bishop will be on even Steven points.
Wow.
They will share second place. We'll have to go and count how many wins they've got then, I think,
Yeah.
a piece to see how they calculate who gets second place in this championship. But in terms of how points are right now, Alibi and Tate Bishop will be on even Steven points. So all Alibi has to do is get through and pass Tate Bishop. If he passes Tate Bishop, he stays ahead in the championship.
And Alibi is literally 1 card away from Tate Bishop. Fissa has a lot of a role to play here because his pace has helped Alibi get where he is.
Yes.
Credit to Alibi, he does have the ability to run fast. But now if Fissa gets past, managed to get past Tate Bishop, it's very likely that Alibi is going to be in there too. Very likely.
Dolanchek putting his head down and trying to get away. And by doing so, he's looking to secure the championship with the final win of the season. That's a nice way to go out of the championship, that's for sure. But Kian Finelli, he might just want to play a little role here and say, no, I want that last one. Ethan Kutsia is thinking the same thing. He's not too far off and could have a go here by the closing stages.
And these are names you're going to have to watch out for next year when these riders are able to get consistency where results are considered. I know Campanelli hasn't been a feature a lot in terms of wins and podiums, but he's showing he's got the speed. He's able to put his cart in there and mix it with the front runners. So he and Ethan Kutsia are definitely names to consider for next year in their cosmic cards.
Dolanchek, Kian Finelli, Bishop moving through on Kutsia. Kutsia under attack now from Fissa. Fissa's got Alibi right with him. And they are all in it now with 3 laps to go.
And
3 laps to go.
So Fissa's going to release Aliba now, see what happens and how that turns out with Kutsia, the only rider now left to actually hold him back from getting past Bishop. But someone must have told Bishop to hurry up and get ahead.
The hurry up is on there with Aliba.
Yeah.
Aliba diving through on Fissa, getting through there into turn 1.
Exactly.
And now moving through and looking to possibly get onto the back end of Tate Bishop. That is his championship rival.
Yeah.
He's got to beat Tate. And he's timed it to perfection. Imagine if he gets him on the last lap, Tate Bishop will be kicking himself. At one stage, Tate Bishop was sitting in second place in this championship. Yes, they were not going to catch Troy Dolanchek because he's now absolutely loving life at the front end of this race with a small half a second margin. That's enough, though, right now, if he can just compete and control it for the next 3 laps, or 2 laps, actually.
Iba, he needs pace. He needs to get the hurry up on now because the gap isn't closing between him and Kutsia. He had plenty momentum going into the initial spirit up, he and Fissa, that is. But when the swap around happened, I would have thought they would have stayed with Kutsia, but it doesn't seem to have changed.
Bishop back into third place now. Kutsia behind him, which is exactly what he needed. A bit of a buffer there between himself and Akil Alibi. So this is going to be changing things up a little bit as well. We're not going to change anything in terms of Troy Dolanchek at this stage. He's going to be finishing up on 392. That'll give him the championship. But Alibi, oh man alive, he's done 5th place.
Oh jeez.
That is going to give him 384. Final lap as we start the final lap now. Tate Bishop with it all to do. And Tate Bishop sitting there in 3rd place with the 30 points is going to give him...
Fissa on Aliba. Aliba just lost out to Fissa.
Fissa losing to Aliba, Aliba losing to Fissa. That's not what you want. Aliba is going to have to come back. Aliba comes straight back.
Yeah.
That's what you want to be seeing. Fissa's trying to kind of keep it there. He's got to get through. He literally has to get through there on Fissa, because if he doesn't get through on Fissa, he's going to be in trouble. He's going to be in big trouble there.
Oh,
so Alibi
he has an answer there.
sitting at this stage in 5th. Your championship leader coming to this round, and your new champion for 2019 is Troy Dolanchek. He crosses the line and wins the SA Rotax Max Junior Max title for 2019. An ecstatic young man there. You can see how happy he is, and that's exactly what you want to be doing at your final round of the championship. Securing it and wrapping it up here. Tate Bishop, though, came through eventually for 3rd place. So if we give him the 3rd place there, he gets 30. He goes on to 384 points. Right, Akil Alibi finishes in 6th place. Gives him 27. Oh my goodness. Can you believe that? He is going to lose 2nd place in the championship by 1 point. Tate Bishop has overtaken Akil Alibi in the last race of the championship to get 2nd and secure 2nd overall in the championship ahead of Akil Alibi by 1 point. That's unofficially, of course. We'll get the official results later on. But of course, results of the day, they're going to Troy Dolanchek.
End of a national championship, and it was a big of seesaw ride right throughout the season. You started strong, led the championship, lost the lead in the championship, and then you had to come to somebody else's backyard and fight for the championship, and every heat it was changing.
Yeah, I think we really came from the back of the whole championship. With Cape Town, we should have done much better. We had a bad Cape Town in general, only just making the top 6. So to fight back from all the different races, P was very good for us, but we struggled again in Idubi and we came out thriving in Zwartkops.
Talk to me about the emotions as the day was going on. How you were dealing with the up and down scenario.
Yeah, so yesterday we were quick in the practice. We struggled a bit in qualifying. We only qualified 4th. But in the first heat we also struggled, only came 4th. But the second heat this morning also struggled, came 2nd, but that was only because of an incident. But throughout the day we struggled a bit in the beginning and then came out strong at the end.
Now that you've won South African title, with that come that coveted seat at the World Finals, what are your emotions at this stage?
No, I'm just really happy about this championship and gonna obviously try my best there in Italy.
As far as Rotax goes, from my point of view, it's a fair class. It's pretty standardized with all the engines. So a lot of it is up to the driver. Good chassis setup. You obviously need to be part of a good team to be running at the front, and your driver needs to understand what the kart is doing, be able to tell you what it's doing. But if you look at the results and the times, the top 6 drivers are normally in the same, not even 10th, more like 100th of a second. So the racing is very competitive and very close. And I think that's why we've chosen to go the Rotax route. Okay, well, this is our first venture into Europe this year. So we joined a team in Europe and we did the Euro Trophy starting in Belgium. So we raced in Genk and we also did the second leg in Adria in Italy. And then we were fortunate enough to get a drive at the Le Mans, which is basically similar to the grand finals. The only difference is that the team bring their own equipment, so you've got all the best equipment and all the best drivers in the world. For me, with Junior Max, with my son Ethan, there were almost 100 entries, 36 make the A final, and the heats were absolutely phenomenal. The racing was close and the organization was fantastic. Just the marshalling, the stewards, everything. Obviously, being such a huge event, they can throw a lot more money at it and a lot more competitors. The international flavor was fantastic. There were, I think, over 300 drivers from more than 60 countries, and in the junior class I think there were 44 countries represented.